Hi, I'm Barry Eisen, and for the past 35 years I've worked with corporations and hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs to improve their health and their wealth by changing habits, attitudes, and redirecting focus and concentration, with the idea being that you're only going to go in the direction that you're looking. And with economics changing and with the rules seemingly shifting, the one thing that is the same, that can be controlled, is human nature. We generally take the path of least resistance, and as a result, very few people really follow through. But if you take your eyes off the prize, obviously, the distraction there is enough to really turn people inside out and upside down. Today, the word purpose is very big. All the best-selling motivators talk about having a purpose, something that really pulls you through the slumps that occur periodically. Well, if you haven't got a purpose, what do? Do you make something up? Here's some ideas. Peter Drucker once said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. And the art of goal setting is the creation of the future. The areas in which I'd like you to at least think and apply what I'm about to share with you are the areas of balance within our lives. There are physical goals, financial goals, emotional, educational, family, social, spiritual. And for the balance in our lives, generally, doing things within this range of human experience is a healthy thing. Keeps people moving forward with energy. But what happens if you buy into the concept that you'd like to have goals, but you really can't think of anything to get excited about? Here's a nice little system. I refer to it as my 5-1-3 approach. It's not a very sexy title, but it may serve your purpose. Here's the idea. You take one of those 7 areas, or maybe many of them: physical, financial, mental, educational, family, social, spiritual. And you write down 5 things that have passed through your mind in the past. Some ideas that kind of caught your imagination, and maybe you negated them and didn't follow through, but maybe it's a recurring thought. So just as an example, if it's physical and you really haven't done anything physical and there's such a plethora of things that you can do, write down 5 things that have crossed your mind in the past, maybe in the past year. Maybe one is getting on an exercise program with a physical trainer. Maybe one is radically changing how you eat and what you eat. Maybe something physical could be engaging in a sport, some kind of athletics. But write down tennis lessons, or at least tennis playing if you don't want to invest the dollars to learn. But you want to get out there actively and do. Write down 5 things. You can do that in spiritual areas, from delivering Meals on Wheels to reading for the blind to going to church for reading the Bible. But write down 5 things in a given area. Of those 5 things, and if you come up with 6 or 7, there's no hard, fast 5. So you take, let's say, this hypothetical 5, and out of the 5 you select one thing. Just one. That's where the 5, 1. The 3 comes in, do it for 3 months. Not a lifelong commitment. That's a long time. That's a very hefty commitment to something that you're not quite sure about. But you can do most things for 3 months. Now, there's no magic to 3 months. Maybe it's a semester where you're taking a yachting class at a local college. Maybe it's fencing lessons. Maybe it's preparing to run a marathon or a 10K. But whatever it is, do it for the semester, do it for the 2 months. In other words, get past the learning curve, the initial learning curve. That's where things are most difficult. When you're learning the language, when you're learning to move, when you're learning the rights and the wrongs, the basic elements. And that's where most people fall by the wayside. They say that in most cases it takes anywhere from 2, 3, 4 weeks to change a habit pattern. And according to Eric Burns, who was a big study in the areas of social psychology, he says it takes 2 to 4 weeks because you go through initial resistance before you get to a level of tolerance which eventually, if you continue to stay the course, will end up in acceptance. So generally within a month's period of time, things can shift. So you do whatever this dedicated one thing is. You do it for, let's say, 3 months. At the end of 3 months, you do a little gut check, a little reality test. Is this something that really gets your juices flowing? Is this something that you can really get excited about because now you see it from a different perspective, more one of involvement? If it is, good for you. You found a passion. Very few people go through life with something they can truly get excited about and can have some control over a period of time. If it's not something that floats your boat, you're just not real excited about it, do something else. Take something else off that list of 5, which may now be 4. Or if something along the line has popped into your mind, do it. You don't have to be right, but just make a decision to do something. And even if you do something for 3 months and it's not the right thing for you, and you do something else for 2 or 3 months and it's not the right thing for you, and then you do something else for another 3 months and it's not the right thing for you, who cares? You're involved. When you're learning something, you're growing. You're meeting new people. You're extending your vocabulary. You're extending your interests. And you may not like what you've done, but you've done it, and it will still come up for you at parties. You're more interested. You're more interesting. You are more charismatic the more things that you endeavor to do. And even if it's not something that is a true passion for the rest of your life, you're in the game. And life can be fun when you're constantly being stimulated. One certain way of getting out of a depression, unless it's a clinical depression that needs drugs, but if it's just the blues that you're carrying around and you're feeling junky, whatever, and it's hard to explain and nobody has a right answer for you, an answer almost always is learn something. Get out of your own egocentric predicament. Do something that is a little risky, a little bit edgy, and you may find that that's the ticket to literally get all those juices flowing all over again. It doesn't take but a short change, a little shift in consciousness to make a huge bottom line difference. So I hope this idea is a good one for you. 5, 1, 3. Enjoy it. And let me know. Take a look at me at www.barryeisen.com. Leave me a comment. And if there's anything that I can do to either answer a question or to be a listener for you, absolutely take advantage of my offer. Have a good life.